This week I was on a Camp Spark Zoom call. Camp Spark's our junior and senior high church camp that unfortunately was canceled this year due to coronavirus. And even though we can't physically be down in the canyon for camp, our group, we still wanted to figure out how to bring camp to our students' homes. So since camp was scheduled to be next week, what we're going to do is 5 different members of our Camp Spark design team. We are going to be providing these devotions over the theme of tending our faith, owning our faith for our students to watch. Because it's an important topic, because we've loved how camp can help shape our students' faith and their love of God, but when we provide such meaningful moments twice a year, we found that it can be easy for some of them to fall back on this thought of, man, I've fallen away, my faith isn't as strong, I'll just wait another few months till camp and I'll get that fire of faith back later. So it's important that we want to help our students know that we want them to know where our faith refill stations are. In a lot of ways, I use camp as a time to refill my faith. But our hope for this devotion series is that our campers will know that they have a personal responsibility. They're also responsible for their own faith formation, filling their tank, that they can't just wait for camp to empower their faith, but they have to own their faith. And so on this Spark call, we were having this, and I thought that it's not just an important reminder for our students, but that we're all responsible for tending to our faith. That's what the bulk of the Protestant Reformation was about, that we believe in the priesthood of all believers, that we're all able to faithfully and humbly approach God, and that God is always available to us. And so thinking about with the church being closed and reopening, and how I've been deeply impressed with the faithfulness of our church members during this quarantine to continue tending their faith. It's been a really tough last 3 months. I don't have to tell you all that. And though this period of time isn't over for us, it does feel like we're entering this new phase of life. And so how do we continue tending our own faith? So looking back in the past 13 weeks, each of our Sunday schools have been meeting, checking in on each other, tending their faith and the faith of their friends before they go and watch worship online. This fly is killing me. We've helped provide meals to students in Edmond Public Schools until the district was able to more permanently fill the gap, and that was a really cool few weeks during the beginning of quarantine. We've continued our Tuesday outreach programs. Boulevard Buddy still meets the needs at Boulevard Academy, and our children, youth, our college ministries, they've all been digitally gathering, helping each other tend the faith. Finally, this past Sunday, we had almost 600 people join us in worship. It would have been really easy these past 3 months to disengage during coronavirus, disengage until we could just return back to normal, yet normal may still be off in a far distance. And that doesn't mean that we stop tending our faith, though. We don't stop tending our faith when conditions aren't perfect. In fact, tending our faith in the imperfect times might be the most crucial time to dig in and engage in our faith practices. And so I hope that you'll continue to tend to your faith. I know I'll see some of you on Sunday, see you for the first time in 3 months. For some, it's still not the time yet for them to come back to worship. And I want you to know that I celebrate and I support your decision to stay home and continue tending your faith in a way that's safe for you. You know, it's one of the greatest compliments that you can give us at church as a staff, that you feel comfortable, that you feel like you can tend your faith from home because the online worship experience is still worship for you all. Today we're not going to have a musical offering from Joel. His wife Dana gave birth on Monday to this beautiful baby girl, Hannah Eliza Lee. And so instead, as we think of tending our faith, I want to provide another opportunity for you all to watch our Sunday morning expectations video, so that this Sunday everyone can be prepared for what they can expect at in-person worship, or whenever they do come back for this new phase of life as we tend our faith.
What an exciting time. We are gearing up for worship on our Edmond campus once more. We're going to start this Sunday, June 21st, but because things may look a little different than when we last gathered, I wanted to give you a heads up on some of the things you may encounter.
Okay, so you mean we have to wear a mask?
They didn't tell me anything about this.
Well, I didn't bring one, and I'm not wearing one of theirs.
And they're telling me I can't shake people's hands?
The nerve!
And did you know we couldn't even sing hymns?
So disappointing.
Oh, they are getting a 1-star review on Facebook.
Sometimes, if our expectations aren't adjusted, we find that we really don't enjoy ourselves or allow the Spirit to move us. So rather than find yourself out of sorts, I'm answering some of your questions through this video that we've put together. Here's one.
Why do I have to wear a mask to worship? It's super uncomfortable and I'm not showing any symptoms. In fact, I feel fine.
Well, the mask is not so much for your protection as it is for your neighbor. Many people have been asymptomatic, not showing any symptoms, and have spread the disease to others unknowingly. So when you wear the mask, you are protecting your neighbor. Jesus did ask us to wash our neighbor's feet. So think of this as the 2020 alternative. For most of you, I think you'd rather wear the mask. And if you don't have a mask, an usher will happily provide you one for the service to keep afterward. Here's another.
I really like our specific pew in worship, the one that's up in the balcony. Can that one be moved over to the CAC?
No, Alan, we won't be able to do that. The chairs we have are plastic and easily cleaned between services. This means that we will be asking you to exit in an orderly fashion while social distancing after the service has ended, so that we'll have time to clean before the next service. Okay, let's look at the next question.
I forgot to make a reservation. Can I still come anyway?
Maybe. We do have a limited seating capacity due to safety and distancing. While we are providing a limited number of seats for walk-ups, these are largely for our visitors that haven't seen this information. Here's our reservation system, easily accessible on our website, fumcedmond.org. It lets you choose how many seats you'll need and gives you the guidelines for the service. Since seats are limited, we invite you to register early in order to get the worship time of your choice. By making a reservation, this allows us to know who is attending each service. If someone attends and we find out that they have the coronavirus, we can contact each person at the service via email to let you know to watch for symptoms and to avoid contact with any friends or family over the age of 65. So, as easy as it is, why not make a reservation right now? So let's look at another.
I can't wait to sing the hymns.
Oh no, this one is a toughie. We won't actually be singing as a congregation yet. When we sing, we propel droplets at greater distance and velocity than when we talk. So when we sing, we become super spreaders, and that's really gross. Our music will remain contemplative at the service, and those leading will be behind plexiglass shields for your safety. So while we can't sing together yet, we'll enjoy the music as a congregation in a new way. Here's another one.
After worship, is it okay if a few of us go over to the main building to chat?
How about the alley?
When is it going to be Sunday school?
Think of the main church building kind of like the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden. When we tell you that you can't go in there, it becomes even more desirable, doesn't it? Unfortunately, having people in other areas besides the main CAC floor will require us to raise our cleaning costs substantially. We will eventually have smaller groups meeting like Sunday school classes, but first we want to practice being together in worship. As we carefully watch infection rates in Oklahoma, our hope is that they will continue to diminish, which will signal us to return to our small group meetings. And we ask that you do not congregate in the alley or the parking lot to visit so as to avoid congestion, pun intended. You might want to make arrangements to meet for lunch after worship in a nearby park or patio outside with some people you haven't seen in a while. Just don't plan on picnicking in the alley. Here's another question.
I heard there won't be children's church or nursery. Is that true? Why does the church hate us?
I hear you. this may be the cruelest change of all. Some of you have been trapped inside together and were looking forward to this time of freedom. Now it sounds like a wrestling match on plastic chairs for 45 minutes. Well, we know that children have more difficulty keeping a solid social distance from one another, and so we're just following the recommended guidelines for precaution here. Our children's ministry department has prepared special children's worship kits to allow your child to engage with the worship theme for the day on a more concrete level. At the end of the service, you'll wonder where the time went. We also have this question.
Sam, I'm over 65. Am I going to be able to come to worship on Sunday morning?
Absolutely. While we encourage those over 65 to continue to worship from home, we will not be checking IDs at the door. Some people may need to gather for worship at our campus for their mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. We're happy for you to join us, but we are trying to point out the best safety precautions as we know them at this time. We will continue to pre-record our services in order to broadcast on Sunday mornings. If you choose to stay home, they'll also be available to you if you want to go home and listen to that sermon again, or more likely check the Easter egg at the end of the service. For those that we'll see on Sunday, it's a relaxed summer service. Wear something cool and comfortable. I'll probably be wearing something like this, and Trey is really sad that he can't wear his black heavy robe. Well, that's all we have for today. We look forward to seeing you again soon, and we're praying for your safety. And if you haven't liked our Facebook page or subscribed to our YouTube page, now's a great time to do so.